Hey all, I'm Fed, aka Surrogate of Sorrow, the solo dev behind Dicey Bizniz, and today I'm here to show you how the main mechanics of the game work. The first thing you want to do is to configure the settings. In particular, if you're streaming, you may want to lower the music volume down to 0 so you can stream with your own subtle background music. Next, I recommend to check out the codex. That's where you find some basic information on the available dice, relics, spells, and bosses. For items you already bought in the in-game shop, you can also see the lore and an explanation of the best combinations and strategies. The most important section of the codex, though, is the manual. This manual contains a clear explanation of the complex scoring system in Dicey Bizniz, which is the most valuable piece of information at your disposal to master the gameplay. First of all, it's important to understand that in Dicey Bizniz, you don't have to select just one combo. You'll always be scored against all combos in the dice hand you submit. Most combos are exactly the same as in a game of poker, like pairs, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, multiple types of full house, and so on. But there's also a few special combos, among which the Fibonacci set stands out. The score is calculated by summing up all the dice values, each multiplied by the individual die multiplier, plus the combo chips. All of it multiplied by the combo multiplier, added to or multiplied by even more multipliers coming from relics or other game bonus effects. More on this later. So let's start a new run. The first thing we're going to do is selecting the scenario and the in-game options we want to use. There's a HUD or heads-up display that shows you the score for the current hand, an invaluable gameplay aid. You can also choose to play with or without boss battles. It's entirely up to you. Lastly, you can enable or disable the tutorial. Let's play an easy scenario. The dice roll and the HUD is showing us that our current hand is worth 101 points. A breakdown of all combos that contribute to that score is shown on the right-hand side of the HUD. Clicking on each combo, highlight the dice that make it up. This can help us strategize. For example, in this case, I'd lock the 4 dice that make up the straight if I had 4 locks available, and then re-roll the other dice. But I only have 3 locks, and 101 points is already enough to win this ante, given that the target is 80. So we can just submit this hand as is. Oh look, an event occurred. During the game, these events have a 15% chance of occurring between bouts, and their results are semi-random, so the same choice will not always lead to the same outcome. Since we don't have much money, this time let's try to ask for free advice. Whoa, we got lucky. We got an additional reshuffle as a reward. Now let's head to the shop. The shop is where a lot of your planning and strategy takes place. This is where you can buy relics, new dice, spells, upgrades, and sell the dice you no longer want to have in your available pool. Among the various options, something you're probably going to want to do as early as possible in the game is upgrading your hand size. That's the number of dice you can submit at once for scoring. We have enough coins to upgrade it from 6 to 7, so let's do it. Now if we sell a couple of our basic dice, we can make sure our better and rarer ones will show up in the next ante. Then we have just enough coins to buy a relic, and then we continue the game. That was clearly the right choice. Look at these 2 combos scoring a total of 428 points. In our next visit to the shop, we better start buying a few spells, because our relics won't have any effect in the upcoming boss battle. All we will have available during boss battles are our dice, our spells, and our wits. But before our first boss battle, we get to play one more normal ante, and I get to show you another game mechanic: locking and re-rolling. See? The 164 points we rolled would be enough to win this ante, but we need to start stacking up coins and gems to buy better upgrades, so we need a better score. Clicking on the combos in the HUD highlights which dice each combo is made of. Then we can lock those dice and re-roll the others. Bingo! 250 points is much better. Let's submit. Now the next ante will be our first boss battle, so we really better stock up on spells. Let's buy some in our Between Antes shop visit and then head straight over to the boss battle. Before each boss battle can take place, you and the boss will roll a d20 for initiative. Whoever rolls the higher value goes first. If you tie, you go first. Remember to read the description of the boss aura, its special power, very carefully. To defeat each boss, you'll have to factor this information into your strategy. For example, the iron calculator gets additional multipliers whenever it plays a higher die than your previous one. So this time the boss goes first. Let's head into battle. Because of its aura, this boss will have an expected tendency to often pick dice with a high face value. We need to counter its strategy, but at the same time build a combo that scores higher than the boss's. Boss battles are turn-based. Each contender picks a die, moves it into their own battle tray, then passes the turn. Before passing the turn, you can also play spells on your dice if you need to. Now if I play a 6, the boss has an 8 available, and since 8 is higher than 6, the boss gets an additional +1 to its die multiplier. We're not off to a good start. Now let's play a mirror d6, which originally rolled as 5, but will become a 6 once I place it next to my other die. Now ideally I would like another 6, though there are no 6s in the shared pool. But I can play the die with the highest multiplier and turn it into the 6 I need using a spell. At this point, the boss is already doomed. There are only 3s left in the shared pool, so it won't be getting any additional multipliers again. Plus, the best it can now achieve with the dice it has left is a 2 pair, whereas we can achieve a full house. The boss is defeated. We get a generous reward for it, and we get to visit the shop once more before heading over to the next ante. Well, this was, in short, how to play Dicey Bizniz. Of course, each player will develop their own style, tactics, and strategies. That's what's cool about Dicey Bizniz. You look at 2 different players, and they will play the game totally differently. Find your own style. Climb the antes. Become a dice mastering hero.